mermaid, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all, this is a dream come true for me because I am sitting next to Mermaid Hannah, head of Fraser.
Hello.
OMG.
Oh,
Well,
thanks, Abby.
it is so nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Girl, you got all the sparkles going on. I love
I
that.
just, when in doubt, more glitter.
That is the life motto.
Biodegradable glitter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Biodegradable, yes. So we're here at Mermaid Megafest in South Haven, Michigan. It's more mermaids than I've ever seen personally at one time.
It's very impressive.
As a mermaid, I mean, you are one of the OG mermaids. Like,
Thank you. 2003.
Whoa.
Those 16 years have just flown by. Swam by.
Swam by.
Yeah.
Just swam on by. Well, back in those days, there were not tails.
No, I remember
buy.
going online and thinking, someone's got to be able to show me how to make a tail or someone must sell one. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There was not any other professional mermaids in the world other than site-specific, Wikiwachi,
Right.
and then the mermaids that had been, hired for film specifically, and they were usually actresses that did a thing and then they left and it wasn't their lifestyle.
Right.
And so I sent out letters to all of the special effects agencies and the filmmakers and, cast my net wide.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And did not get many responses. But I tell you who did write back to me, which I will always be thankful to this day. It wasn't very helpful, but it was very nice. Was Robert Short, who made the splash tail, which was the inspiration for me when I was 9 years old and made my first tail.
Yes.
And he took the time, he wrote back, and he said,
gosh.
I was part of the special effects team that made that tail, and it was not very functional. We made about 8 of them. She had to be locked into that thing. We latexed it closed. She couldn't pee for 8 hours a day. They kept breaking. We super glued it to her body.
Okay.
And I was like, well, and we had a team, and each one cost like $10,000.
Of course.
And I was like, well, that was great, but not helpful.
That's not gonna help,
No.
guys. Thanks, though. Appreciate you.
So I thought, okay, well, I'll just make my own tail. I'll figure it out. My first one was terrible. It was very Aussie. So I had a pair of flippers, a plastic boomerang, some coat hangers to kind of make the shape wider, and then a lot of duct tape to tape the crazy contraption together.
When in doubt, duct tape.
Yeah. And then I put a lot of glitter on it.
Yes, of course. Wow.
It didn't function very well, but it gave me enough of a feeling that I was like, wow, I get it. I can do this. And then I got real technical. I was like polyethylene board, bolting flippers onto it, sanding it down, silicone on top. And it just went from there. And 16 years later, I have 14 tails. Each one takes 6 months of hard labor and pricked fingers to create, and is each one a unique work of art. And I've never sold a tail because they just take too much time and money to make for me. So it's really just like an art form.
You are one of the most impressive to me as far as underwater photography and just, movement underwater. You are
thank you.
great at it.
Well, if I hadn't been doing what I did as a visual artist, model, mermaid, I feel like I missed my other calling as a dancer.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have any ballet experience?
No, I was not trained. I was always loved dancing, but I was never really trained. I did a little ballroom dance in my teenage years. I took a few hip hop classes. I have belly dancer friends that show me how to shimmy.
Yes.
But no, I was not trained, but I love it. It is my happy place. And I used to have dreams when I was a kid and up until now where I'm weightless and I'm flying and I'm dancing, and it's like the most blissful state. And I wake up just going, why can't I do that? Right. And so what it is when I'm underwater and I'm dancing like that, I'm recreating my dream space.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you can hold your breath for how long underwater?
I'm not amazing. I can do 2 minutes of activity, 3 minutes if I breathe up and hold really well. And if
that's pretty impressive.
There's free divers that are 6
for sure. They're legit.
minutes, and I'm like, wow, how do you do that?
Right.
Yeah. But for me, it's what I do with those minutes that counts.
For sure.
You know, and when you're freezing cold, bolted to the bottom of the ocean with 50 pounds of weight, being
Correct.
pushed onto harsh rocks and trying to look pretty and hold your breath at the same time,
Right.
that's where my skill comes in.
Correct. So you have,
With a shark.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. You got some obstacles and all that stuff, and so you swim. I mean, I've seen like with the giant whales and with the tiger sharks and stuff. And like, I want to know, you know, what that is like swimming with creatures of the wild. But B, like, what is the energy like between you and the animals? Like, what does that look like? Especially with the tiger sharks, because I'm like, people have such a like skewed view of sharks in general, and so like, what is the energy between, especially like in that video you made, which she had a professional team with her.
Yes.
And please do not
Don't go and
swim.
pet tiger sharks
Just
by
don't.
yourself.
Just don't do it. But you did, and what was the energy like down there?
So I trained and learned everything I could about tiger sharks before that, and I had found that, you know, there's different places in the world where it's more safe to interact with animals. They're more used to divers.
Right.
They're, you know, amply fed. They're not desperate
Yeah.
for food. We haven't eaten all their fish stock yet.
Right.
So the Bahamas and Tiger Beach is one of these amazing places where these animals have had human interaction nearly every day, and they come, they're interested. And the people there are really used to understanding what mood they're in. So these sharks, the divers down there know them all by name, and they can, you know, tell you, oh, that one is a
Oh my
larger
gosh.
female, and even
Yeah.
though she looks more scary, she's got nothing to prove. She's older, she's wiser, she's
Yeah.
chill. It's those little ones you got to be scared of because they're male and they're like twitchy moving. So there was a
Okay.
lot of knowledge that
Yeah.
I learned that
Yeah.
I wouldn't have understood how to interact with them safely had I
Yeah.
not had that. But wow, I never expected to be so interactive with sharks. You know, I was like, I'm gonna go and hug a dolphin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like have an emotional, spiritual, experience with a whale, and
Right.
those happened. But the sharks were the only animal that offered themselves for physical contact.
Wow.
They came up, they brushed past, they would allow me to trail my fingers under their bodies as they went past. I tickled them on the nose. It was so wild to feel that massive strength. I could
Yeah.
feel the
Yeah.
musculature as they went past.
Yeah.
And they were like big dogs. They were kind of like,
Yeah.
they sniffed along the bottom of the ocean, and then they kind of look up at you with these big eyes and just
Yes.
kind of like, and then you give them a little scratch on the nose, and they're like, cool.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be super fit. Like, you have to be in like tip-top shape to be doing what you're doing.
I mean, I'm no gym junkie, that's for sure.
Well, okay.
But
you probably eat a certain way and do some sort of exercise to stay
Yeah.
this way. What do you
yoga
do?
is absolutely essential
Okay.
because one, it works with the breath.
Yes.
And so you're deep breathing
Yes.
into the parts of your body and expanding your lungs in ways that you wouldn't otherwise. So that's really good.
Interesting.
And then the dancing is really important because of just,
Yeah.
jumping around,
Cardio.
cardio,
Yeah.
physical activity. And movement. You have to keep your spine supple to be able to even begin to move as a mermaid. And the other thing that is super important is meditation, and that people don't really expect
Yeah.
because they're like, I just want to like swim and do all
Yeah.
this activity.
Yeah.
But if you're in dangerous situations, which
Right.
whether you're in a pool, in the ocean, or an aquarium,
There's still a risk factor
there's
there,
a risk
for sure.
factor, and you need to be able to deal with those situations with
Yeah.
a really calm mind and not panic. And so for me, the meditation is really awesome for that. And yes, I've been vegetarian since birth for health and for ethical reasons. Obviously, I love animals so
Yes.
much that I can't eat them.
Yes.
And I highly disagree with the way that animals are farmed these days. If
Definitely.
you're going to do it ethically.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm actually vegan, and I'm on an extremely restricted diet for health now. So like
Yeah.
no sugar, no dairy, no
Yeah,
wheat,
girl.
no blah blah.
I'm
But
on
yeah,
that meal
so-
plan myself.
Yeah, so it definitely keeps me healthy, keeps me
Yeah.
young, and
Yeah.
so I'm grateful for the limitations that my body has placed upon me.
As far as the business side of being a mermaid, a lot of people don't like think about this. They don't think about branding. They don't think about social media or like, you know, the things that are now necessary for a successful brand or business or whatever. So like from your perspective, and I know you got into it like pre-social media stages.
Thank God.
Yeah. But, you know, for the rest of us, here we are.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what have you found to be successful for your brand and your business? You just in general, yeah, like
authenticity. Why are you doing this? And this is what you'll ask from any business person, anything that you do.
Yeah.
You have to have something that truly comes from your heart, that's an authentic offering. Otherwise, other people aren't going to buy it either.
Right.
If you're just here to make some money and to like be famous, that is a very shallow platform.
Yes.
So find what wakes you up in the morning. What is it that lights you up? What do you want to talk about to people? What information do you want to impart?
Yes.
So that to me is the number one thing. And then you have to, everything is a trickle down effect from there. What visuals portray that? What messages? What's your vision? So craft your brand from the perspective of what is it you're truly trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. Don't sell out to the latest fad or the craze or what you see other people doing. That's another really important thing. Like, be original.
For real.
And I know it's a little more difficult now. When I started,
Right.
I was original just because I had a tail.
Yeah.
And now you've got to contend with thousands of people around the planet, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean the ideas have exhausted. I'm still
Right.
seeing people come up with super unique, unusual offerings and
Yeah.
doing their own thing, and that's, to me, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Like, push the boundaries. Don't just copy somebody else. That's
Yeah.
already been done.
Come
Be
on.
you.
Definitely. And you said something yesterday. You said you were talking about the definition of a mermaid, and being of the ocean, correct?
Yes,
and
and
then
maid being servant. So, yeah, for me, everyone's like, well, what is a mermaid? And it's not just a pretty girl that sits around in a tail,
Right.
or, you know, this siren that eats men's hearts,
Yeah.
or these other kind of visuals. To me, it is literally being a servant of the sea. And so for me, my whole brand has come from the passion of being of service to the ocean and to the planet. Well, it's really interesting because we are the first generation that has grown up with the threat of entire world annihilation.
Yeah.
You know, other generations had to deal with horrific wars and so forth, but they were never told we could annihilate life on the planet entirely.
Yeah.
We grew up with that message.
Right.
So we're contending with these dire prophecies while still trying to be completely optimistic and bring beauty and love to the planet. And so I think it's called for even more. And I was saying yesterday, you know, creativity, radical creativity is called for more than ever before because it is the place of solution and innovation. Yeah. So through our enjoyment, through our love, through our passion, we can create change that will, you know, change the course of this dire prophecy that we're living with.
I just really appreciate you for sending that message in a really beautiful way. I think you're such an inspiration to me and to all the mermaids here. For sure.
It's so inspiring to see everybody take that on and to stand up, be literally the bridge between land and sea.
Yeah.
And to be the spokesperson of this gorgeous planet that we inhabit.
Right.
You know, we watch all these cool sci-fi films
Right.
and, you know, Avatar, Pandora, and
Yeah.
we're like, I wish I lived there. Guess what? You do.
Yeah.
This planet is magnificent
Yeah.
if we look after it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Mermaid
you.
Hannah.
Yay.
This has
it's
been
an absolute
such.
pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, and now we're gonna go and get wild with like 500 to 1,000 people dressed as mermaids.
Just the Guinness Book World Record or something like that. Well, if you want to follow Mermaid Hannah, you can follow her on Instagram at Mermaid Hannah, correct? Facebook.
Hannah Mermaid.
Oh, Hannah Mermaid. Sorry. Hannah Mermaid, yes. And then YouTube. You've got a YouTube channel.
Yep, Hannah Mermaid.
Hannah Mermaid.
HannahMermaid.com. I'm really easy to find.
All the Hannah Mermaids. You just search Hannah Mermaid, you will find her. But thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.